how to stop relapsing. Over the course of a couple months, I've been keeping track of every single relapse. You know what I mean? And right now I'm doing a 200-day streak of no fat. So during those times, I learned a lot, thanks to God. You know what I mean? All of this come from Christ. It's not my power. But I gained a lot of information on what's making people relapse, what's making them, keep folding. I studied the time I relapsed. I studied the reason. I studied what I was doing before the relapse. And it all boils down to this. So this is why people relapse. If you watched my How to Be Happy video, I broke down the universe. I broke down all of this into 3 parts. I hope you can see this too. I broke it down into the spiritual, the physical, and the mental. It's 3 parts, and all of it flows together. Now, this right here, physical. The physical is where your horniness lives. Because what is horniness? Horniness is our primordial nature. It's in our DNA, in our genes, our genetic coding to get horny. Because what does that do? It wants us to reproduce, be fruitful, and multiply. So understand that it's energy in the physical. It's energy right here. And that energy comes from, your testosterone, etc. This is something I want you to remember. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Remember that. It can't be created nor destroyed. So this energy is supposed to flow through one another and be let out into the world in a healthy way. What our energy is supposed to do is flow in a circle. It's supposed to flow. Our physical, spiritual, and mental aspects of our life should be in alignment. You know what I mean? It should be in alignment. And when something is not in alignment, it throws everything off. So, as I was saying, energy can't be created nor destroyed. Unless you God, you can't create nor destroy energy. So our testosterone is building up energy. You know what I mean? Like our nuts, we getting horny. We creating semen, and that horniness is the energy. But because our mind or our spirit or both is corrupted, instead of that energy flowing in a neat circle, it flows and it gets corrupted and it gets corrupted. And because of that corruption, instead of it being let out into the world in a healthy way, it's being let out into the world in a corrupted way. What is that corrupted way? Porn. Okay, let me flip the page because it's getting kind of messy. All right, so spiritual, mental, physical, right? What in our mind is corrupting this energy from flowing out into the world? What is corrupting it? Ask yourself these questions. How does porn make you feel? How does sex make you feel? What do you feel before you relapse? What do you feel before you have sex or ejaculate? What do you feel before you watch porn? What do you feel? What emotions do you actually feel throughout the day that lead up to an ejaculation? How would you describe your life? Me, what was messing up my mental? I felt alone. I didn't feel like I had love. You know what I mean? I felt as though I was just afraid of woman. I was so afraid. I was afraid. And that fear put a blockage in my mind. So instead of me taking that horniness and using it to talk to women, because that's what I do now. Nowadays, if I'm horny, I talk to women. You know what I mean? Not sexually, not lustfully, but I just talk to them. And that cures my horniness, because now I can free flow into the world. Like when I'm on campus, I can talk and I can let out my energy. I can exercise. I can go to the gym and let out my energy. But when I'm cooped up in the house, sad on some depressed shit or something, because I'm too afraid to step out, that corrupts the energy. So every time I think about me being alone, every time I think about something that makes me angry, every time I think about how frustrated I am, you know, that's the thoughts I have. Sometimes those negative thoughts, it corrupts that horniness. It corrupts it, and it transmutes it. Notice that horniness gonna keep coming back, bruh. Unless you cut your nutsack off, you're gonna get horny. Don't think semen retention gonna get rid of your horniness. It's not. But what it's gonna get rid of is the dirt behind it. And it's gonna help you be able to transmute that in a better way. So understand what blockages you feel mentally and spiritually. I was afraid to die. Why? Because I at the time, back then, I didn't have 100% faith in God like I do now. I doubted him. You know what I mean? I doubted him. I didn't know who was God. I didn't know what would happen to me when I died. So I was lost. And that fear also spread out into my mind because I didn't have God. I also felt alone. I didn't love myself. I hated myself. I did. And that energy that was being produced in my nuts, it got corrupted once it went through these centers. So then it left out my body. It was transmuted in a negative way. You understand so far? So that's something I need you to think about. So in understanding that, you can then understand your triggers and figure out why you keep beating off the hentai and Ash Cash. I wrote a bunch of scribble scrabble, but I'm gonna break it down for you. Spiritual, mental, physical. So I told you, talk about your feelings. What are you feeling that's corrupting your mental state? That's causing the energy that's being built up here to be corrupted. So what I was feeling, again, a lack of love, anger, and I needed Christ. So with this child, why did I write child here? Because the lack of love and the anger stemmed from my childhood. I had to figure out the source. Why am I feeling these things? Because when you masturbate, you can't fully, it's a nigga standing at the end of the alley and he looked like fucking Slenderman right now. He looked like he about to fucking kill me. Neither here nor there. You can't fully feel your emotions. You can't fully feel it because you keep masturbating to suppress the feeling. So I had to go back to my childhood. What was I dealing with that made me feel this? As far as finding Christ, I just had to let go and have faith. Time, this more on the physical side. You gotta understand that we aren't just infinite beings. You know, our willpower it fluctuates. And I learned that I relapsed the most at night. That's what I calculated. I relapsed around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. when I should have been asleep. Our willpower is exhaustible. And if you, basically, just to summarize all of this and make it short, if you can deal with the mental and the spiritual side, right, while also giving accommodations to your physical energy that's building up. So as far as working out to get rid of some of that energy, and also going to sleep on time because your willpower is exhaustible, then you can quit porn. You got to understand, a lot of people mess up by trying to do it all from the physical. They don't pay any attention to the spirit. They don't pay any attention to their mind. And they just try to willpower their way through it. And that's not the way it works. You will fail every single time. You have to pay attention to the triad. You have to pay attention to the mental, spiritual, and physical. So, to conclude, write down all your problems and deal with those, because that's why your horniness keeps turning itself and transmuting itself into the desire for porn. Sex is just an easy release and an easy distraction for your problems. So write down all your problems and actually deal with them. You beat off when you're stressed. What are you stressed about? Actually go do what you're stressed about. Finish it so that you won't be stressed. Write down your triggers. Write down what's going on and heal. Heal from your mind. Find God. Heal from your spirit. You know what I mean? And Do something physical to get your mind off of stuff. And you'll stop stroking your shaft. Also, I forgot to add, I wrote a short book on how to actually stop watching porn, how to actually get over the addiction. I'm gonna put that on my Tumblr so that you can read that. I highly recommend it. Link in bio. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Music channel link in bio. Check it out. I made a song called Bromo Dragonfly. I love y'all. And always, praise Christ.